Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Newbie Education Study Abroad Fair. My name is Tayo and I am the Marketing Manager for Newbie Education, and I'll be your moderator for this session. Allow me to introduce our rep today, David Essien, who is representing ECA, International College and London Metropolitan University. David is the Student Recruitment Advisor for West Africa, and he's going to present to you information about the school, the application process, and he's here to answer all your questions about study abroad. And our newbie staff is also here to walk you through the application process should you have questions about that. So welcome. If you have any questions, please put them in the chat box, or you can wait till the presentation is done and then you can raise your hand, we'll unmute you and you can ask your questions directly to David. So David, go on.
Thank you very much, and good afternoon to all. It's very good speaking to you, and it's very good that I've been included by Tayo and Newbie Education. Partnership, I believe, will be very long and successful. So I will go into the information regarding ECA International College. I'll keep it very sort of brief, and if, as Tayo said, you have questions, stick your hand up, and we can take those at the correct time. Now, ECA are predominantly an Australian-based company. They've been involved in recruitment and a pathway and higher education within Australia, working with many of the leading universities there. And now I've been brought on board because we have partnered ECA International College with London Met University here in the UK to provide an alternative pathway, another provider in the market for students who do want to study a degree or postgraduate, but aren't going to go direct. And it gives them another option to do that. Now, I have been working in education for about 18 years now. I know it probably looks like that. So that's from primary all the way up to secondary, higher education, and postgraduate study. So I would like to think I have a good indication, a good understanding generally of the education market in the world as we know it. And I do have a particular passion for Africa, in particular West Africa, Nigeria being, I'm half Nigerian, so that I do have a passion for working within Nigeria and visiting and providing an opportunity for Nigerian students to study in the UK. Hence the ECA International College and London Metropolitan University partnership. Now we do provide within this an international foundation pathway, and we also provide a pre-master's program. The foundation pathway, we have terms starting in January and May, and we also have the same for the pre-master's program, which starts at the same time, just a little bit later on. And then students who complete each of those can go on to study at the university, be it for their undergraduate program or for the postgraduate. And the good thing about it, and one of the things I think is very important, is that it's an on-campus college. And so it gives all students who start their pathway or pre-masters with us the feel of being a member of the university straight off the bat. You have all the access, all the same, how should I put it, interactions with lecturers, faculty, other students who may be in their first year at London Met University. So it gives you a chance to feel included in the whole process from the get-go. Some institutions or some providers will actually have off-campus schools, and then you'll matriculate into the on-campus. Well, we think it's a real good idea to have you straight away on board at London Met with your own email and access to all the educational functions that all the undergraduate or postgraduate students will have. So that's one of the things that's very important. And obviously also the location, being in a part of London which has good networks for, travel. The students, who I'm sure will have an understanding that London can be busy. It's only about I'd say 200 meters away from Holloway Road Station, tube station, the main campus. So getting to campus, it's not going to be something that is going to take you all day. It's very close. So location is very important as well. And we'll look at things like entry requirements for the IFP. You'll probably get more detail from my colleagues at Newbie, if you needed to drill down exactly, some of the requirements. But in this session, for the IFP going on to an undergraduate, you would need to complete secondary school education. And also, there is a requirement for English, that is IELTS 5.5 overall, and in each of the bands, listening, writing, speaking. And the reason why that is, I know a lot of institutions may accept just the WIAC result, but because it's an integrated program in that you get a 4-year student visa with London Met. So it's covering the IFP and of course the 3 years of undergraduate study that you'll be doing. Hence, for our connection with the UKVI, it needs to be at a level that would be similar to an undergraduate to ensure that there's a synergy and progression and the student is able to start that first year without any issues. It's not specifically about just the English, but it's about the working process from secondary to undergraduate. And that is the same for the PMP. The PMP, it's, completion of your first degree, and then you would do 3 months with ourselves. And the important thing to note is that the pre-master's program, it's not about learning English. It's about learning the skill sets of being able to go from an undergraduate to a postgraduate degree. So, it's important that, all the people who do apply understand, I think that, we're not looking to help you with English because your English levels are at a very good level. You've done a degree, you've done, English all the way through your education. It is more on understanding how to do thesis, how to do, other critical thinking. It's giving you the engagement from undergraduate straight to postgraduate. So you have a successful time doing that and complete the course without any hindrance or thinking that you haven't had the proper teaching to get you through to the next stage. So that's why we have that. Also, it's only a 3-month PMP with ourselves before passing on for the 1-year postgraduate course. So in essence, it's a year and 3 months. And again, the visa you get will cover you for that entire process. And one of the good things about both our IFP and the PMP moving forwards to London Metropolitan University is a portfolio of undergraduate and postgraduate courses that are available. It's not, in my time previously, I can remember some of the universities were quite restrictive in, the offerings they had from anyone doing a foundation or a PMP onto undergraduate or postgraduate. But in this instance, it's a very, very, wide-ranging portfolio, as I say, of undergraduate and postgraduate courses, which gives the students a really good choice of what they want to study. And of course, in this day and age, as all students want to have the opportunity, in many instances, to maybe work after their study, the visa will include a 2-year post-study work option. That is both for the undergraduate and the postgraduate, which I think is something that is very, very necessary, and it's a great option to have because it, of course, enables you to network within a totally different environment. London is one of the capitals of the business world, and research, things of that nature. And also it will help you when you are applying for certain jobs, if you have that on your CV, that you have actually studied and worked for a certain amount of time in London, to give you more of an international feel and add more value to your CV or your worth to your potential employer. So that's something that I think is very important. Now, I won't go through at this point the costings, because that I think can be sent to you. But just briefly, it's you're going to be paying for the IFP. It's £10,500, and for the PMP, it's £5,500. So I would like to think that we are very competitive within the market. We will also be looking at scholarships, bursaries, which I believe are, very important to help with assistance to students who are looking to do their studies within the UK. So that is something that we are working hard to ensure that we give all students, both undergraduate, IFP, postgraduate, PMP, the opportunity to get some assistance. So, as I say, I think it always helps. And also we are working on, especially for the IFP, the requirement for an English language equivalent to get WIAC as the accepted qualification, hence students not having to maybe do IELTS or PE or PTE, sorry, which can be rather irksome, considering most of what Nigerian students study is all in English. It's a first language. So that is something that I'm working very hard to ensure, which will, at the end of the day, hopefully make things a lot easier for students to progress straight through without the extra cost or time to do these English language tests. So that's just a brief synopsis of, what we're all about. So if there are any questions, the floor is open. Please feel free if you have any questions.
Hi, thank you, David. If you have any questions, feel free to raise your hand and you can unmute yourself and ask your question, or you can put it in the chat box and we'll answer any questions that you may have. I did get a question during your talk, and someone asked about studying medicine in the UK and what that cost would be. Is that like offered at a low cost?
If you're talking about maintenance, living expenses, or is it just the cost of the particular course? Were they specific to what they were mentioning about cost effectiveness? Because as I said earlier, the actual price of our programs are very competitive. In fact, we are under most of the other pathway providers, and universities, but this isn't to say that demeans from the quality. It's just we want to make things accessible to all students, whatever part of the world, and we feel we can do that with our pricing structure, and of course the bursaries or scholarships that we can also offer to potential students.
Great, thank you. Nasam, I don't know if I'm pronouncing your name correctly. If does that answer your question? If not, you can message again, and then we'll be able to answer it more directly if that didn't answer your question. But we have Rachel Bassa who is asking, is there a fully funded scholarship?
I've just seen that. Now, if you're talking about 100%, at this moment, there isn't 100% fully funded scholarship, but that isn't to say that there can't be. That's all, as I say, in the present time, working with London Metropolitan University to put some thoughts together that I've sent to them that will go to their academic board, and then we'll come back. So at this point, I can't mention that there will be a fully funded scholarship, but what I'm looking to do is have a scholarship that provides for the pathway part, and of course, for the part when they are undergraduates, standalone from London Met University. And London Met themselves do provide their own scholarships. So to answer that question in the short way, not as yet, but we are working on things that could lead to fully funded scholarships.
Okay, fantastic. Do you have partially funded scholarships? I know there's some that are like coming into an undergraduate level can be based solely on academia.
Yeah, we are working on that now. I tend to try to, not that I don't see the academic value of the scholarships, but I'm looking to move slightly away from that, because that can get kind of, market sensitive per market, and what do you really need to have? So I'm looking to it more as bursaries to enable students who have, say, the only criteria might be a minimum of 5.5 prior to, WIAC being accepted as an English language, to ensure that you can get that scholarship. So yes, we do provide, we will have scholarships available for hopefully the January, if not May intake at the latest.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you, David. Does anybody have any questions? You can raise your hand, or you feel free to unmute yourself as well, or you can put your questions in the chat box. So we'll be here for a few more minutes, so please do use this opportunity to ask any questions that you may have about the application process and everything that comes with that.
I mean, the application process is pretty straightforward. You provide your academics, at this instance, you provide your proof of English, you get the offer or the conditional offer, and once all those have been met, and then you have your maintenance, that's all provided, and then a CAS can be issued for you. And the one thing we do pride ourselves on is our SLA, service level agreement, with the partner university, because we do have a member of our team working in the admissions department at London Met to ensure that we have a seamless response to things like CAS, because we know how important it is to book your interviews at the British consulate. So we kind of look at 24 to 48 hours for both offer and issuance of CAS, pending everything is required to be able to go to that next level.
Great, thanks, David. Someone is asking that while you're working towards English language tests not being needed right now, do you need IELTS?
At this current point, if we had a term that just started in September, the intake, you would have needed IELTS, yes. But what I have put to the academic board, both with ECA and London Met, is we understand that WIAC is accepted by many of the universities, international pathway institutions, Russell Group, middle of the road. So that's something that they realize, and I think they're actioning as soon as possible. So my hope is, of course, I can't guarantee that for the January term, that will be in place. If not, at latest, it will definitely be there for May intake.
Fantastic, thank you. Does anybody have any more questions?
I mean, a lot of times in these instances, you can't think of something, it comes after the minute you've gone off. So please, if you have anything through thoughts that you think of later on, you can go through my colleagues at Nubi or email me directly, and I'll be able to get back to you ASAP. But I will keep you updated, that is Tayo and the gang at Nubi, about the English requirement with WIAC and scholarships the minute I get the sign off and update on that.
Great, thank you so much. Thank you so much, David.
Pleasure.
I have just put in the chat box our contact details, so please do contact us if you want to get in touch with David to have a one-on-one conversation about your situation,
Absolutely.
or you would like for us to give you more information, as you said, or updates, please do reach out to us, and we'll be in touch with the recording of this session as well. Do you have any last remarks, David?
Well, you know, you've covered everything. I think, you know, I've been as succinct as possible. But if there is anything, you know, please reach out to me, you know, and my fantastic colleagues at Newbie, and I'll be very happy to get back to you as soon as possible. But be aware and be, you know, free in the knowledge that we are working to make things as attractive as possible. We understand that the international education market has changed vastly after COVID, and we would do anything, you know, within our limits to ensure that the pathway is, you know, a lot more accessible. So I never like to say no. I always say, I'll work at it, and if it happens, it happens. If not, we'll see what we can do to compromise. But yes, I look forward to hearing from all of you, and hopefully seeing you in London at some stage. And apart from that, have a very good day, and speak to you soon.
Great. Thank you, David. Thank you so much for your time. And thank
An
you
absolute pleasure.
for joining us for this session as well.
Not at all.